Hey everybody, it's Bust, and today we're doing battle in the All Commons Twist with Tempo Warrior. And so, with this Twist format, with the absolute popularity of the Dragon Warrior deck, it's very interesting if you're able to kind of sneak in within the same class, play something that's a popular deck, and then catch your opponents off guard in the mulligans, have them perhaps hanging on to some 4 and 5 drops when they really need to be mulliganing down to their cheap. And so that's what we're coming out to investigate with Tempo Warrior today. And I'm sure in the near future we'll also take a look at a much more aggressively oriented version with Pirates. But that's one of the kind of big ideas that we're taking into this format. We've talked about what I think are the 3 pillars of the format as to either playing Dragons, playing Bonemare, or playing Street Trickster. Today we're going to be playing a Bonemare deck. And the thing that gets me kind of interested in these other versions of Warrior is actually going to be the Grimy Gadgeteer. As we talk about the strength of the Street Trickster being able to come down. There's not a ton of removal in the format, and then if you don't remove it off the board and your opponent gets to untap with it, it gives you just this absolute massive advantage rolling into the next round. A lot of those same things apply to the Grimy Gadgeteer in the sense that if it just gets to sit on board and give bonus after bonus after bonus after bonus, you're never losing that game. And while it doesn't have that same kind of resilience that we would be getting out of the Street Trickster, it only has 3 health and warrior, and behind this wall of taunts, it does give us a very straightforward and easy way to get the Grimy Gadgeteer on board, slightly protected with a taunt, and then there's just not a ton of removal running around that will be able to take it off of the board. And so this is another deck that I'm very interested in the sense that we are playing the Bonemare Fungalmancer package, but it also has this kind of landmark unit, if you will, this just let me sit on board and do my thing kind of unit that gives us these bonuses turn after turn in a deck where Street Trickster doesn't really make any sense. Outside of that, there is a lot of overlap between the likes of this deck and the Dragon Warriors. So many of these cards are just so high quality between the Executes and the Inoa guys and the Sky Raiders. There is a bit of overlap there, but where we do get to kind of push away from the idea of dragons and then be a little bit more early game oriented is going to be with the Lackeys package. So we're going to have things like improved morale, which can get a point of damage on board and generate a lackey, and then the warrior special and the evil quartermaster helping us get on board that way. Ideally, the addition of these lackeys will let us get some width, either chip down our opposing units so then we can get a clear with Ravaging Ghoul, or just having a bunch of units on board for the likes of Fungalmancer and Bonemare, much in the same way that we try and protect a Grimy Gadgeteer on board with the taunts. That also works towards these other smaller units as well. So if we're getting the little lackeys on board, you don't necessarily have to just come in and trade them away. They can sit on board, maybe just attack face, and then look for a better attack a turn or two later, since they can be protected by the taunts. The last thing to kind of call out in here is we do have a fair number of ways to take advantage of the Acolyte of Pain. It's a fantastic unit to catch a buff from the Grimy Gadgeteer, but we do have a lot of the single damage pings, right? We're not playing super heavy towards the AoE theme. We only have the Ravaging Ghoul in here. We're not playing Warpath. We're not playing Whirlwind. We're not playing Death's Bite. But with the likes of Improved Morale, Cruel Taskmaster, and then the Ravaging Ghoul, we do have a handful of ways to get this immediate damage onto the Acolyte of Pain and use that as a card advantage engine. And so that is it. That's the deck we're doing battle with today. But I almost forgot, man. We got to come out here and turn something premium. Where you at, Sky Raider? You were the one that I had my eyes on today. Premium package turned on one of you. Those premium pirates most certainly going to make the difference today. So let's jump on in, see how it goes. All right, yes, we're in queue. I've got a serious topic I have to talk about today. This happened to me this morning. And the thing is like you get older and your body starts to function in different ways. You know, it's like hitting puberty or something and you're getting weird boners all the time. Here's what happened to me today. And so I farted, smelled it. It smelled so bad, I had to make sure I didn't shit myself. This is the first time in my 38 years I've I've encountered such a scenario, but I did it. I've absolutely sharded before. As you get older, as you're starting to push into your 30s, you most certainly can't trust farts anymore. You got to be extra certain you're not going to shit yourself. You'll learn that the hard way eventually. But having this nonsense happen to where you drop a little stinker and then it turns out to be a mega one and you're like, oh my God, it's so bad. I got to make sure I didn't shit on myself. It'll happen. It'll happen to the best of them. But I checked it. I didn't do it. I didn't shit on myself, and so it was a good day. That's a good way to start your day off. You know, you're afraid you shit yourself and you didn't actually do it. All right, all that aside, back into battle here. Man, as I've been playing more and more of Improved Morale, this has been one of these cards to where I was like, this would be so incredible if Spell Mana was in this game. If you're if you are a here. This is tough. I'm going to take the Bog Creeper because we're probably up against dragons. I prefer a mid-rangey taunt here, but they don't exist. It's either a little or a big, and so we'll just go big. But no, it's like having access to that spell mana like you did in Runeterra and being able to play our taunt on 2 but still have access to the mana to play Improved Morale would have been so nice. But we can't have nice things, I guess. For those Runeterra folks that are still out there, I did see that the patch dropped. There has actually been a new patch in Runeterra since the announcement that ended all things, and so if that's something that still interests you, that's out there. But all right, yeah, let's see how this game goes. The thing that worries me a little bit here would be a Consecrate, right? If he's going to have the ability to consecrate our board and then kill the Gadgeteer with his Historian, that would be kind of crappy, but it's not how it played out here. Now, I would like to get the Scale Rider off of the board just to continue to protect our Gadgeteer. The bonus landed on Bog Creeper, which is a bit shitty, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, I'm not quite willing to spend an Execute on the Scale Rider. I prefer to save it for, like, the big 4/10 taunt, and so I think I'm just going to get the Mummy in. It's not the most effective usage of it. You would really prefer to be getting a 2-for-1, but with the chance to just like full clear this board and then still keep our Gadgeteer protected, I think I'm happy with that. Like, he is getting to the mana to where he can coin out the Rush Dragon, but that Rush Dragon costs 5 or 6. Oh, interesting. That Consecrate came from the left, and so he's had that this whole game. Huh. Okay. Alright, a bit of a turd of a hand, though. This is one of these spots where I really wish this Bog Creeper was in that mid-rangey space. He caught all of our Gadgeteer bonuses as well. Very interesting. This is a match to where you do have to worry about them having like the things that set your unit size to 3/3. Maybe since we're up against dragons, we don't have to worry about it nearly as much, but I am a touch concerned that this Bog Creeper is just going to get domed. But very strong value turn here. We get the draw off the Acolyte, the shrink on the opposing unit so we can kill it with the weapon, develop a little bit of board, maybe get to switch into a Bonemare kind of plan now. I'd much rather kind of get things kicked off with Bonemare as opposed to dropping the Bog Creeper. It's just I still worry that he's going to be able to smash us with one of those unit shrinking things. Are we still on board with this? I mean, the bonus to adding the Bog Creepers, we get to just start attacking face. I do kind of like popping this Divine Shield. Like, I think we have enough cards for this game. We can just throw away Acolyte of Pain. But then I want everybody else just going face. Did things change now that we picked up Slam? I don't think I think I still want to save the Quartermaster for... I'm sorry, save the Execute for the big guy, the 4/10. He would be coming down next turn, so ideally we'll get some width on board so he doesn't have as many good targets. Interesting. Leaves our big boy unimpeded. Well, that Execute's just definitely rolling in now. No way I'm gonna pass up on that. Let's just keep at it. So now his Twin Tyrant definitely isn't that good, right? It doesn't kill any of our units. He can play the Tyrant, hope to hit our 7/7, and then like swing Bonemare into it, but you just lose that game. That's not a winning angle. What are you at? I'm in the mathematics stage. Got up to 16. I did that little bit of counting down below. Saw 17 on our leftmost units and knew we were good. God, what a struggle, man. What a struggle. Doing basic math. So when was the last time you shit on yourself? That's what people turn up here for, right? Asking the real questions in life. When was the last time you shit yourself? It's a fun party question. If you I guess this is where we're at today. We're locked in on this fucking topic, but this is a fun question. Whenever you get yourself with a group of friends, perhaps you're at a little drinking adventure, a little party time, a little get together. Ask people if they wipe their ass sitting down or standing up. Take a poll on what's going on. You'll see some real surprised faces. I'll let you just envision in your own mind the way that I approach the situation, but you'll be real surprised what people's answers are and how close to 50-50 it is, and what an absolute shit show you think it is that someone chooses the way that you don't do it. One of the finer questions in life. Save that for your next party. The Super Bowl's coming up. You're gonna come and watch the Chiefs do a little Super Bowling, playing a little sports ball, talking about Taylor Swift. Just go ahead and get that one out there, You wipe your ass sitting down or standing up. All right, well, this is kind of dumb. I saw this start and I was like, awesome. We're playing against Priest. We're going to be able to just run out this Grimy Gadgeteer, no problems anywhere. But our draw didn't really support that. It was a nice draw of the Sky Raider into another 1-drop to where we can now potentially clear some board and get the Gadgeteer on board. But it doesn't strike me as a space to where we want to drop it in the face of this loot hoarder and friend. It's like I envision us having to play towards Fungalmancer. And if we're playing towards Fungalmancer, I want to get as many units on board as we can. But I worry about getting AoE'd next turn. I guess it's not the end of the world if we play all these little pirates and then he's got an AoE. It just feels like we're not playing our game, we're playing our opponent's game doing things this way. But I don't know, just adding the evil Quartermaster doesn't feel like a winning strategy. All right, so now we get a little bit of recovery time here with the fungal. We're just like half a step behind, and it's been brutal. I don't know. Maybe we should have just like ran the Gadgeteer out. You get to put the bonus in hand, and he would have probably traded his whole board into it. There's not any priest removal that actually kills the Grimy Gadgeteer, and so maybe that would have just been the better angle. Interesting. All right, well, let's kick it off with the Quartermaster, see if we can't find a good lackey here. Not really looking for Discover a Spell. Yeah, this is so awkward. We have to spend all of our mana this turn. I just don't want to spend it on this garbage. The struggles of life. Alright, I guess we'll just be behind 1 mana. Anything cool in here? I mean, I could get behind a Warpath. It's not that strong until turn 7. Maybe we just take the portal. At least lets us get a unit on board. But yeah, go rolling into turn 6 and being like, it's finally time to add our Gadgeteers. It's not really the way. Not really the way we want it to be. I mean, I guess we might get a chance to clean this up this round, but nope. That chance is gone. Regretting not taking that Warpath just a little bit. Alright, something cool? Not really. How about now? This is all just awful. Okay. I'll just push that escape button and move on to the next one. But yeah, man, it felt it's so wild. Like just feeling to be like a touch of mana behind. Just that one little spot is what got us. Like I'm pretty certain that we should have just played the Grimy Gadgeteer or whatever our landmark unit is called. Just say, okay, this sucks, right? But we're going to get the opportunity to clean up board. We're going to get that bonus stat in hand. And then maybe we can start to recover with that bonus stat. We were just trying to play for board when opponent was already ahead on board. And we could never catch up in that space to where, if we play the first one and it puts the bonus onto the other one, and then we have the 6/5 on board and it's going to put a bonus on another unit in hand, like that kind of chain we can start to recover from, and Priest doesn't really deal well with that. I think we just took a bad angle right from the get-go there, being like, oh, well, I'm going to play all of these shitty units so that we can trade, but you can keep getting value and I can't. Like, that just didn't work out. We're never going to come down and just, like, execute one of these 2/3s. So, that one was on me. We're out here learning, though, folks. You gotta learn something on occasion, am I right? Alright, reasonable enough start. I don't feel like we need to keep Cruel Taskmasters. It feels like an activator as opposed to a early game play that you want to make. But we will be kicking it off with I Know a Guy, so if we hit a 2-drop with I Know a Guy and get to start playing 4/4s in the early game, then I'll be a little bit happier with the Taskmaster. Alright, little Patches guy coming in. And we gotta take the tentacle. Gotta get one of these cheap guys here in this space, otherwise we won't be doing anything until turn 11. But I think it's okay. I assume that we're up against dragons. We play fine against dragons and probably actually play even better against not dragons, and so I feel like we'll definitely start catching up once we get this tentacle down. And if his angle is to execute the tentacle, I think that's probably a win for us as well. Poisonous. Nice find, I guess. I can't drop an execute on that thing. Let's kick off with the Sky Raider and see if anything turns up. The other option, I guess, is just to add Acolyte of Pain. And then we have some options on the next turn as to whether or not we want to clear board with the Mummy or if we want to start making value plays. This is probably fine. This poison unit's a real pain in the dick. Saying your prayers to RN Jesus out here. I feel you. I feel you, dog. Interesting play directly into Acolyte of Pain. Alright, I guess. Let's see what turns up.
Someone's gotta lead the charge. Bring the pain.
I'd like to spend the mana. I guess we probably do want to go ahead and just take this last draw on the Acolyte. Gotta come to the right and start checking our hand size if we're gonna draw 3 extra cards in a turn. Looks like we survived that round okay. It's so weird seeing all these cards. I'm so used to Acolyte of Pain being a 1/3, the Cruel Taskmaster being a 2/2. I'm not certain at where everything changed, but definitely not used to it. All right, we gotta start getting this stuff off the board. So I'm looking to do this. I think we want to play the Sword Eater. We're gonna eventually hit this Corruptor, but let's restat him for a moment. See if we hit something cool. Fungalmancers, whatever. I guess the Fungalmancer gives us a little protection from Warpath, but gives us a little protection from Twin Tyrant. Probably find something to do with that. All right, so we can't let our little friend die until our opponent's turn. But now we are getting up to this space of Bonemare, so I do want to do whatever we can to start getting a bunch of guys on board. If we're gonna add in the Mummy, so that we then get a takedown on this attack, I guess that's fine. I want to play the Pirate. Let's get the Flunky in. Let's take the big boy here. That's close. Like, we have plenty of stuff to do in hand, but I think this game's going to just drag on for a while. Almost missed it. I was thinking Fungalmancer is just a landmark. He's not doing anything. He's just gonna he's just gonna hang out the rest of the way. Ready to party now, though. We'll get Bonemare. Interesting. They're just gonna have another weapon maker in hand. Or I wonder what his hand looks like when he starts doing this. If he's got just if he's just got a, like, he's already played one Blackwing Corruptor, so he's not really near burning us out. I would think that if he's just like sacrificing his weapons like that, it just means that he has another 2/5 weapon generator in hand. But that just doesn't strike me as the unit you really want to be making here. This is a fine execute, yeah. Does let us try and recover board. So I would definitely assume Twin Terror is going to come down next turn. That's what would make sense to me. So I'm here. I want to get the Ravaging Ghoul. I want to get the Restless Mummy. So that's 7. It's not quite as effective as I want it to be. So let's take a slam. And we'll just get the Gadgeteer. We're not going to have enough time to just get a bunch of value out of the Gadgeteer. So if he plays Twin Terror this turn, we have a very good one if he hits Bonemare, and then just anything else. I think that'll get us in a good spot. Like, if his Twin Terror lands on Restless Mummy and Bonemare, we're going to be in exceptional shape here. That's so weird. Yeah, he struck face. And so that's the kind of indicator like, oh, I'm just going to like corrupt you out and burn you down. But with both corruptors coming down, it seems like that's off the table.
A taste of what is to come.
Interesting.
A taste of what is to come. A taste of what is to come.
Sure. We could still get on board pretty big here. I guess the the thing. Okay, I thought we were getting kind of critically low on cards in hand. It's not. It's not quite the case. So let's start drawing a little bit. Ooh, with the second Gadgeteer. Okay. I don't think we're ever at risk of just getting ourselves decked. We should be able to end the game before it comes to that. Like, if he's going to triple Warpath next turn to make us draw 3, sitting at 8 cards in hand, I have to feel like we still have plenty of time to finish the game. But essentially that same spot as last turn. If he wants to play Twin Terrors and it hits wrong, right? If one of the Twin Terrors lands on Ravaging Ghoul, like, he's just so fucked at this point. Acolyte of Pain, okay. And hits to the left. Nice. Very nice, I tell you. Now we're just going to run away with this. So, like, we're 100% going to execute. The way is, how do we want to get the damage onto the Terror? Kind of prefer it to be, like, something that doesn't kill our Ravaging Ghoul. So I think it's just going to be a bash. I'm looking at this. I'm going to bash. I'm going to execute. I'm going to add Dum Dum to the board so that we get the weapon. We'll add this pirate thing to the board. Gives us a little protection from Warpaths. Now we're zooming. Booming with bust, that's what we call it. Nice. We got this pirate thing on board, so he can still triple Warpath, but he's going to kill the pirate, and it's going to put the stats over onto the Sword Eater. So it's like we get a pretty good value out of the turn. I think we're ready to just start going ham. What we got? Discover a dragon? I can fit that. I gotta keep coming over here and checking on the checking on the cards in deck. I think Big Ol' Whelp's probably fine. The interesting thing would be, like, do we want Volcanic Drake so we can try and get 2 units on the board in the same turn? Well, if we're gonna go that route, we should have just taken the Hoarding Dragon. Alright, I think we're still good though. He's got access to 1 execute that he can use to take our big boy down. We haven't dropped the Living Monument yet. We can probably navigate a turn to where we get a very cheap Volcanic Drake or something. I think we're good. What do we have here? Like 8, 9. We're going to be 1 short going for the Fungalmancer. Let's add the Lackey and see what turns up. Transform thing. Not quite what we needed. Our units are in the wrong order to get to kill this round. We needed the taunt guy over on the left. Alright, sure. My thoughts on this turns, I just don't want to die, right? We're at 12 or so. There is some kind of reasonable chance that he plays a rush unit and does something weird and gets a kill that way, I'm pretty certain if we just take the full clear on his board, he's not going to be able to get out of this on the next turn. So I think we're good to go from here. Right, if he plays like a rush dragon into something I'm unfamiliar with, that gives him the opportunity to win if we leave the big old dragon on board. But I'm pretty certain he's not going to have a way to get any clears if we just take his units down. Didn't even get to play our 10-drop. What a shitty game. What a shitty game. All right, what are we up against now? A little bit of Warlock. So against Warlock, I would always just kind of assume that they're going to be on the more aggressive end of the spectrum. Just seems like the only thing you can do with Warlock these days, and so I'll hang on to this this defensive curve. You know, if we get to play I know a guy on 1, pick up a 2-drop, the same thing we were doing in that previous game, right? To where if we find a 2, great. You know, if we get a 4/4 on 2 and then get to curve into Quartermaster into Sword Eater, that's fine. If we need to coin on 2 to drop a 3-drop taunt, that's pretty fine as well. Should be a pretty good start up against what should be a pretty aggressive deck. Who's the cheapest one? Bloodhoof Brave. Kind of a bummer. We definitely want something to do on this next turn. I mean, I guess we can just bash whatever he plays, but I don't know how you live your life, but I definitely enjoy playing units. I don't want to come out and just... I don't want to come out and just cast these spells and stuff. Pterodax, sure. We played a little bit of Warlock a couple of videos ago. I wasn't particularly... I like the Sea Serpent Egg, but my problem with this deck is there's not enough ways to take advantage of a really wide board. And so if you see what the opponent just did here, right? He got all these big dum-dums up and running, but like whenever he kills off his Pterodax, he's going to get those little 1/1s, and then there's just nothing to do with them. You don't have any ways to boost their stats. You don't have any ways to like equality your opponent. And so you just don't really have enough stuff to really pop off, in my opinion. Let's kick it off with the Lackey, see if we get a good one. This is the guy that can't attack? What are you? Whenever this minion attacks, give your opponent a coin. Alright, we can handle that. You'd be very good with a Bonemare. Oh, you just going to face? Visiting the face place? I don't know how I feel about that. He's letting us get some very good attacks this round. There he goes. He finally takes down the 1. So how bad is it if the opponent gets the coin? I don't think it's that big of a deal. Let's see what turns up. Inzoth's first mate's not that bad. Pretty reasonable board to be getting the hook attacks in. So we'll give him the old coin, but feels like we've caught back up. sure. He did it again. He's got this big old board full of 1/1s, but like, what are you realistically supposed to do with all of these things? Get worked over by the AoEs, I guess. So you gotta feel good about this now. And a Void Walker. You got it. Let's see, what are we gonna pull off with this turn? I was leaning towards just getting the Restless Mummy down. Just clearing out absolutely as much as we can. We'll add him in. Guess we could have played the Quartermaster first to see what actually turned up, but I'm alright with this. Now, do we actually want to take the clear on the Scarab Egg? Let's give, like, 3 Scarabs? I guess the angle we should have taken there, like I started to go autopilot, is to... he did have a fairly full board. We could have canceled out, like, 1 Scarab by taking down the unit on the right and then pushing in that way, but... meh. Oh, and he's playing for board now. This game's done. We're good to go. And picking up the execute we didn't really need. So what do we got? Probably want this AoE dragon. There we are. That looks pretty good, right? We didn't get the card draw off of the slam, but we got to just completely annihilate his board. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I was initially leaning towards, like, we got to attack his 4-attack unit with our 4/5, but then we were just going to kill off our own guy with the AoE. But then I was like, well, we can just give up on slam. We're probably far enough ahead now. Good stuff. All right, get ourselves into that final battle. Game number 5. See if we can't get a good one. Up against the old Druid. This tends to be tokens, and so we'll want to keep a board as low to the ground as we can. I'm fine with the Raider. We kind of want to find some AoE stuff, and so if we could pick up a Ravaging Ghoul, that would do quite a bit to help. We have to keep their board low because we don't have any way to stop the big Treant spell. So, now, if you're playing Warpaths, you have the chance to recover through that, since you can say Warpath for 3 and probably kill all of his board and most of his Treants, but with the removal suite that we have, that's not really on the table.
This place is scary.
Alright, give me the cheap one. We got Tar Creeper, you'll get the job done. You were the cheapest option. Not looking to pick up 8 drops here. if this game goes to turn 8 and we haven't won by that point, then something went wrong. Turn 8, he should be completely empty. Just aiming for the stars. Alright, so let's get the Tar Creeper down. It's gonna get killed, but I feel like we need to just be as mana effective as we can. I don't really want to add in the Frightened Flunky and just have the weaker unit on board. Gives him an opportunity to kill it and then do stuff with the Enchanted Raven. You know that we're going to lose the Tar Creeper this turn, but the Sword Eater should be fantastic next round. miss so much being able to right-click on these things and pull up the full art and see everything. I right-click so much of this stuff. You get to pull it up, you get to see the flavor text, you get to see all the stuff going on. Not in this dumb game. Not in this dumb game. Alright, well, it's like, let's see if we find a way to take down this enchanted raven without sacrificing our face. Didn't quite come together, but he doesn't have any kind of width here, so I still feel pretty safe. Like, he just spent double living roots on our Tar Creeper. So I would assume that means he doesn't have any unit buffs in hand, right? You would much rather just go into, say, turn 5 with all of those 1/1s on board and then just start buffing from there. Not impressed, dude. Not impressed. So the Ravaging Ghoul turns up. He's not really going to do anything here. Let's see if we can't find 2 taunts. If a good taunt or a cheap taunt doesn't turn up, we'll just follow up with the Quartermaster. Stegodon is pretty okay. Cheaper than the Gloom Eater. Moving into a 6-mana turn, we can't really do anything with it, though. The Thespian just dies to everything is kind of its problem. Alright, so we'll let him hang out with the Sensei. He's going to get a good kill on it. That's okay. We were ideally just going to see him flood the board with the little rats or whatever these things are. The little turtles. And then we'll just get a clear with the Ravaging Ghoul.
This be our neck of the woods.
Kind of annoying, but not a big deal. Then the mummy turns up. Not bad.
No tomb can hold me. No tomb can hold me.
I think I probably sequenced that wrong. I was envisioning that there was a way we were going to get to put the Rush Lackey onto our 3/1 to have it take down the Nerubar thing, and then once I kind of pieced together, that was a little bit of a chicken and an egg problem. It got past me, but we're still doing fine. We're gonna ace him with this Ravaging Ghoul, and this game's gonna be done. Jumps friend. I can't get it down fast enough. Rip. Can't win them all. That's right. So GG. Well played. Not a bad set of battles. We can pull this up, talk about it a little bit more. And so, you know, it's a pretty reasonable deck. Again, it's tough for me to tell realistically how much people are going to look at our champion and say, okay, this guy's playing dragons, right? Because that's what we do. We see warrior pop up and we're like, all right, guys playing dragons, right? That's a straightforward thing for the day. Dragons it is, but that's not really, shouldn't be the automatic case. In my opinion, I think that this deck here is quite good, and I think that there's probably a space for pirates to be good as well. Again, we'll circle back to pirates a little bit in the future. But as far as this deck goes, you know, we had some pretty good success with it. I'm overall pretty happy with how everything feels in it, but there are, you know, quite a few flex spots in here. As you can see in like the one of space, we're playing 1 copy of Bash, 1 copy of Fungalmancer. I do really love Fungalmancer in this format, but this deck, it's very hard to get enough width to reliably get the Fungalmancers on board, so we cut it back 1. I have considered playing Death's Bite. I have considered playing Warpath. I have considered playing Brave Heart. Bloodhoof Brave, as to whatever it can be in terms of just getting another big unit on board. I feel like there's some reasonable flex potential in here, but at its core, I'm very happy with the main idea of this deck. We're playing one of the three pillars, right? We're playing the Bonemare, but it also gets to take advantage of that Grimy Gadgeteer in that not really interactable space. And you can see with this, we just like steamrolled a bunch of games with it. If it got to stick on board, we just won. Even the games where we had it stick on board and just stack up on the 10-10, it still turned out to be extremely, extremely reasonable. And so I like the ideas behind what's going in with this, not necessarily just trying to get them, right? We aren't just out here playing ultra aggro when this is supposed to be a control deck, but this does have some like really strong deck building themes to it as far as this format goes. And I wouldn't really be surprised to see Grimy Gadgeteer spread itself out across all of the warrior decks in this format just because it's so good if it doesn't come off of the board. Nonetheless, good set of games. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.